If I had to define what Murphy's Law is, I'd show you these guys. Murphy's Law states that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So let's say hypothetically, let's imagine your current present deteriorates faster than an avocado on a hot day. Okay, you make a last-minute decision to retire him early. Now your new pick wants to appeal to the audience, being a seemingly lovely woman.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, it's too late. And despite the hard work and huge efforts, you lose miserably. Good news, though. Failure is not the end. In fact, it's actually a sign of a positive change. But first, what is failure anyway? Every failure has two components, actually. And if you are an air-breathing, YouTube-watching, time-wasting entity, you can get yourself a candy as you are alive! And also the first part of each failure, to be honest. The second part of failure is always the result you want to achieve. And the distance between you and that goal also determines the degree of failure you are going to experience. So you wanted to run, start, and fly off a cliff. So clearly, you haven't succeeded much in flying, right? But at least you did not die. Even more so, what some might see as failure can easily be success to others. Picture 1865, Ford Theater, Washington, D.C. The Civil War had just wrapped up and good old Abe Lincoln is kicking it back, enjoying a wild night at a play, our American cousin, his favorite drink, plain water. Apparently, abolishing slavery wasn't everyone's cup of tea. Certainly not for John Wilkes Booth, a seasoned actor and aspiring assassin. On the night of April 14th, Booth decides he's going to change the world with one bullet at a time. So Booth sneaks into the booth and puts one in Lincoln's brain. Being not entirely happy with dramatic entrance, he decided to jump onto the stage for a money shot. Did Booth accomplish his goal? Yes he did. But if your success assessment depends on staying alive, well, Booth was unalived later that week at his barn. Where am I going with this, huh? Well, failure, much like success, is kind of subjective. Let me explain it real quick. If you don't see your failure as a failure, then when others see your failure as a failure, it's not a failure to you as you don't think it's a failure, obviously. But now here are some quotes that you can throw in your presentations and also in your mom's face. Booyah. It's also completely free. You're welcome. In other words, it's all about perception. Here's an easy test to determine whether you are prone to see your failures as opportunities or as setbacks. So if you hear blue, you tend to see opportunities and failures. And if you hear red, then you have a negative approach, or SCOC. Ultimately, failure isn't a life sentence. It's more like a temporary case of emotional herpes. Annoying? Sure. The end of the world? Psst, nah. If you don't believe me, hear it from the GOAT himself. Here's Roger Federer, one of the greatest tennis players, enjoying his fancy one-handed backhand. Out of 1,526 matches Federer played in his career, he won almost 80%. Okay, fine, but do you know what percentage of points he actually won? 54%, meaning even the best athletes fail nearly 50% of the time. Okay, so then I'll just fail all the time and give zero f***s, right? About that, not really. In the moment, whatever you do should be the most important point. But after it's done, it's done. Now you can choose what to do about it. You can forget about it, you can cry about it, you can learn from it, or you can trash talk your computer as another fucking game of Valorant, the stupid ass game that tells you nothing about you, but your friends will see you as a pathetic loser, you hear me? You just gotta breathe in and out, right? Take a second to live through your shit. Then pick up a pen and write down what you did right and what you could have avoided. Or you can just blame others, as that always worked great, right? But if you came into this world to do two things, chew bubblegum and kick ass, then you simply cannot be as adaptable as a brick wall. The top dog himself, Charles Darwin, once said, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change." And then he married his first cousin. But we don't talk about that. So you can't win all the time.